Hello, everybody. Let's see who's on. If you're here, if you're joining me, say hello. I'm going to share this into my usual places. And if you are watching, say hello, hello, hello. Let's see who's here and who's on tonight. Hi, Astrid. How are you? Love seeing you here again. Let's see who else is joining me live today. So let me close that screen out so I don't have too many tabs open as I'm doing this. And okay, how are you today? What time is it there? I know you're in London, so I know it's late. So let's see, let me just pull up my notes. Make sure we're all good to go. And today we know the topic for today is going to be how to talk about your business so your potential clients listen and buy from you. Good, you just finished a teaching exercise class and raced home. Yay! I'm glad you made it home safely, and I'm so flattered and honored that you raced home to be here with me. And it's 11 p.m. Oh my gosh. Okay, time for bed. I'm trying to get to bed around 11:30 every night. So, okay, so I'm just going to give it just a minute or so more. Let's see who else hops on, and then we'll just dive straight into the content for today, because I've got dinner on the stove and I do not want that to burn. And it's 11 p.m. You've got to go. So let me just get my rest of my notes, and then we are going to dive in. Okay, hey Gia, how are you? Gia's also in London, so I know it's late for Gia as well. Did you guys know that I was born in London? Yes, I was born in London, and I still have actually dual citizenship. So everyone calls me like the London baby because I was born there. I just popped out there. I wish I had the accent, but I just popped out there. Okay. Let's dive into today's content. But before I start, tell me in the comments is if you struggle to talk about your business, or what is it about your business, if when you're talking about it with potential clients, if you find that sometimes that's difficult for you. Tell me in the comments if that's the case while I start the content for today. So if you don't know me, those of you who are watching the replay, those of you who may not know me, I am Safia, business coach and offer strategist, and I help business owners generate bigger results and revenue in their business by creating and selling their profitable signature programs and offers. And one of the things that I know that most people get stuck on when they're talking to potential clients is, how do you talk about your business in a way that feels authentic and doesn't feel salesy and still generates interest from your potential clients, right? So this can show up when you're in social circles, when you're having sales conversations, when you're at networking, when you're doing lives and trainings, things like this, or even if you're doing like guest interviews. In any situation where you might be talking about your business, even if you're doing like a speaking, right? Or you have the potential to be around or speak to prospects. I know that sometimes that could sometimes be the biggest challenge for entrepreneurs, coaches, business owners, especially if you're new to the game, right? The biggest thing is, how do you communicate and articulate what you do in a clear and concise manner, right? So that you're not like going on with a big, long elevator pitch and a big spiel about it, but you're actually talking about your business in a way that gets people, interested, gets people thinking, tell me more, or, that's awesome, or I can use that, or I know someone that can use that. Gets them piqued and interested in learning more about working with you. So I know that when I was first starting out, that was something that I struggled with a lot. in the very, very beginning. And I know that there's a lot of new coaches, new consultants, entrepreneurs, almost everyone that I know that's new or that I've worked with have struggled with this in some way. They found it challenging in some way, or at the very least found it awkward, right? But the thing is, it's a necessary part of business. And it's something that it only gets easier with practice and with time. So it's better to practice, mess it up, get red in the face, see what lands, see what resonates, see what feels good, and then course correct. But the last thing you want is to be so afraid of talking about it that you never talk about it, right? So I'm hoping that by today, this little live stream that I'm doing, you'll get a little bit more clarity about that if that's something that you struggle with, or at least I can teach you how to like maybe avoid messing it up too much, right? So let me check in. Let's see who else is joining us. Alicia and Raf. Okay, so let's see. It says, so I'm too long-winded when I talk about my business. I want to be more concise and to the point. Yes, absolutely. That's a big one. And Gia says, yes, sometimes I find it's hard to articulate what I do in a concise way. And that's the thing, because we do so much and we're so passionate about what we do. And many times it's hard to really nail that down in a way. And what happens, and I'm sure you could agree if you've been on the opposite end of this, you kind of lose people in the process, right? You lose people, or they eyes gloss over, or anything of that nature. So we're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna figure out how to like stop that, limit that, just be better at that a little bit today. Okay, so let me jump over back to my notes. So there are two different angles to this. And if you're watching the replay, go ahead and leave in the comments also what are some things that you struggle with when you're talking about your business. So for me, there's two different angles to approaching talking about your business to potential clients, right? There is the strategic marketing business way, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then there's the human way, right? The human way. And I want to lead with that. So I'm going to start with the human way, because to me, that's the way to go. So, but the marketing way is important too, and I'll tell you in a bit. So what happens is whenever we have the opportunity to talk about our business, obviously we are trying to showcase our best expertise. We're trying to, let people know exactly what we do and how we help people. And many times we get caught up in our own head about really demonstrating to people what we do, who we do it for, and really putting our best, advertising ourselves, for lack of better words, right? And what happens is you tend to forget to show the human side of your business, right? You tend to forget that you're selling to another human being. Now, if you're a coach, you're a consultant, if you provide any sort of service and you're working with people like or not business, but like you're working on an individual level, or you're working with other people and you're providing a service to other people, you're working with another human being, right? And so when we're talking about our business, it's so important to remember that it's a human to human connection, and it's a human to human relationship that you're building on the other side. Because people want to know who they're buying from. They want to feel that connection. I know that one of the things that, especially if you're new or you're really trying to gain momentum in your business, and you have an opportunity to talk about your business, what tends to happen is the sale or the prospect or the ability to win that person over becomes the forefront of your thoughts. It's like, okay, well, this is my chance to like see if this person can become a potential client, right? And so many times, I'm not saying it always happens, but it's easy to sort of go into that scarcity mindset and go into that mindset of need, right? And forget that you need to show what people really want to see. It's not like how many years you've been in business and how great you are and what you do. That stuff is secondary. That stuff is important, but it's secondary. What people are really looking for is to figure out exactly who you are. Who's the person that they're going to be working with? What's that relationship going to be like? Because here's the thing. If they are, just as much as you are trying to determine and discern if they're the right fit for you and your product and your business and what you have to sell, they're also trying to discern if you are the right fit for them, if they're feeling that connection with you, if you're someone they can see themselves partnering with for an extended period of time to possibly share, depending on your niche and depending on what you do, to possibly share some very vulnerable and very private matters, right? So it's so important for us to remember that there is a human on the other side of the sale, and put the human fact back into business and the way you're talking about your business and the way that you're connecting with your potential clients. So the key to this, and you guys know me, I'm all about the connection. I say it tons and tons of times, but the key to this is really showing them that you understand them, right? And that you get them, and acknowledge where they are right now, and show them that you genuinely want to support them, even if that means, you're not working with them. So you really want to show them that you're a real person, that you're accessible, that you've been there. And I'll give you a quick little example, real life example of something that happened with me. So a while ago, this was a few years ago, I was on a discovery call with a very high level coach that I was following for a while. And really, I was following her for a while, and I liked her stuff, and I really wanted to hire her. And she's somebody that was very well known in the industry, very established. She's got a large following and all that good stuff. So when I got on the discovery call with her, okay, so I have to be careful because I don't want to give like too much information away about who that person is or what she did. But what I was looking for at that time was very specific strategy and support. And she was at the time selling a particular program. She had just opened up a program, and she was looking to get spots filled in that program. So, and from a business perspective, I totally get that. I totally get, like, if you have a certain offer and you want to fill that offer, I totally get that. So she was really looking to just fill spots for that. Now, I was her ideal candidate. I was in the right niche. I was like a really perfect fit for her, but I wasn't ready for that offer. And she kept speaking to me and putting stories on me that was related to what she was trying to sell at that particular time. And I really felt like I was just a number. So even though I admired her, and even though I wanted to work with her, and I followed her, and I was consuming all of her content, and looking at her from the outside, I really thought that she would have been the perfect person for me to work with at that time. When I got on the phone, and when the relationship was not established and the connection was not established, and I realized that she was really just trying to fill spots and I was just another number, or just another strategy discovery call, she lost me, right? And I'm just a very intuitive person like that. I'm not sure if everybody would feel that same way, but that's just my nature. Like, connection is very, very important to me. And so I didn't end up hiring her. And in fact, she kind of left a sour taste in my mouth. So I no longer, I no longer regard her the way that I did. So the point here is that it's so important to really listen to where when you're speaking to your potential clients, remember that it's not just about you pitching your services and talking about your business. It's just as much, if not more important, about you getting to know them, right? There's this little saying as well in marketing that goes like, facts tell and stories sell. People love when you share stories, right? People want to hear that origin story. They want to know why you're passionate about what you do. Why is this the thing that you're doing? And without you spelling it out, by you sharing that with them, by you really taking the time to connect and to listen and to really give them the space that they need to ask the right questions and build that connection with your potential clients. By you doing that, you're winning them over. So instead of focusing so much on selling your business or pitching your business or advertising yourself and just showcasing what you're so great at and how you can transform their lives, take the time to actually connect with them, because instead of winning them over, you're actually going to lose them if you're just focused on talking about your business the entire time. So I can't even tell you how many times I've had calls with people that didn't end up hiring me right away, but they actually came back months later and hired me and worked with me because of the connection that was built when we started when we met the first time. There was once I did a speaking engagement, and I took the time, and we connected with the people in the room and all of the audience. And 2 years later, someone called me up on like a random November day. And she said she held on to my information and she remembered how connected she felt with me. And she hired me on the spot. She was like, no, I'm ready. At the time, I didn't want to take her on because it was close to November and, Thanksgiving and all that good stuff. And she's like, no, I want to work. I want to start right away. And right there and then she paid me. So the point here is the connection. Don't forget the human part of your business when you are talking about your business. Let me pop over and let me see if there's any comments. Gia says, I struggle with the marketing speak side of conveying what I do. Okay. And that's very common too, Gia. And I'm going to get to the marketing piece in a sec. But for sure, the marketing, I would say, should be secondary. And for me personally, I always lead with the human, because all the marketing and the strategic parts of that part become easy once you've already established the connection, once you've built the rapport, once you've established that trust. When you do that, that's when you're building trust with your people. And when you've gained their trust and you showed them that they're worth your time just as much as you're worth theirs, the marketing piece just becomes a conversation, right? So that brings me to the marketing piece. Let me just pop over into the other section and see if there's any other comments. Okay, do the human way. Yes. Okay, so that's the first part. That's the human way. The second part is the strategic marketing businessy piece when you're talking about your business. So if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're a service-based entrepreneur, when most people start talking about their business, right, they may say something like, I'm a life coach for new moms, right? Or I teach coaches how to make money. So this is generally the way we've been taught to talk about our business from a marketing standpoint, right? And I know this to be true from a marketing standpoint, but it's not always the most effective way. And here's what I mean by that. When you're having conversations with potential clients, so like even and the marketing piece of things, when you're writing copy and things like that, that might work, right? And it does work. But when you're actually face-to-face or on the phone and you're having a conversation with a potential client, it's always better to lead with the problem that they're having or the solution that you solve. And here's what this could look like. So the example I gave before was I'm a life coach for new moms, right? That could look like instead, new moms often struggle to find time for self-care. I teach them simple, quick, and affordable ways to incorporate self-care into their busy lives. So do you see how you're leading with the problem, which is new moms often struggle to find time for self-care, right? That captures their attention right away. You're pinning down the pain point right away, and then you're leading into what it is that you do. So the other example was I teach new coaches or I teach coaches how to make money, right? The way you can convert that or lead with the problem is most coaches struggle to get clients and sell their services. I give them the strategies, systems, and support they need to enroll their dream clients with ease and confidence. So again, you're highlighting the problem first. You're telling them most coaches struggle to get clients and sell their services. If they are your potential client, and that means they're your ideal client, so they fall into that category, chances are they're going to identify with that pain point. They're going to immediately recognize, yep, I hear that, right? And then you move into how you support them, right? So the point is you are leading with the problem that you solve because you're capturing their attention more this way, and you're creating space for them to ask questions and leaving it very sort of open-ended. Now, in order for you to be able to really carry that conversation and really get people interested in buying from you, or at least referring you out to other people or talking about your services and other ways to other people, you've got to know a few key things. Now, if you're in the online space, if you've been in business a little while, even if you're just starting out in business, you may or may not have heard some of this before, but I think it's worth repeating. But in order for you to really be able to talk to potential clients so that they listen and they actually want to buy from you, you've got to show them that you know what the heck you're talking about, right? You've got to show them that you understand their struggles, that you're passionate about what you do, and that you have the ability to really help them. So this goes beyond the regular like marketing spiel and the elevator pitch and the niche statement. This goes beyond that. This is where you have to really, this is where you really have to hold the conversation and build trust with them. Because when you're able to really describe the pains that your prospect is experiencing better than they can and really show them that you understand, that's how you build immediate trust and credibility, right? And when there's trust and credibility, they're more likely to buy, right? So tell me in the comments if you guys agree with that. Tell me, hey, Talina, how are you? Good to see you. So Astrid said, this is so true. I had that the other day when I went to a business strategy day. Yeah, the speaker didn't listen to me. And exactly, right? So it's like, I'm here, I'm pouring my heart out to you. I'm telling you all my pains, and you're not hearing me. You're not hearing what I'm saying. And so there creates a disconnect, and that creates an automatic resistance. If you're the client, right? Think about yourself from the client's perspective. There's an automatic like, oh, okay, she's not really interested in me, right? Gia says, I was one of them. I came to your freebie offer in May. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Okay, so let me jump back to my notes. So there are a couple of key things that you need to know. And you've got to know the 4 W's. If you don't know the 4 W's already, here they are. You've got to know who they are, so who your potential clients are, what they're struggling with, why they're struggling with this. And I would even push it further to say why they are still struggling with it. Meaning, if they've tried other things, why hasn't that worked, right? And what you do for them. So that's your solution. 4 simple W's. If you know those 4 things, and if you are so clear on who they are, what they're struggling with, why they're struggling with it, and why, if they've tried other solutions, they're still struggling with it or it didn't work, and what you do for them, then that makes the marketing piece so easy breezy. Because again, you're going to be able to really speak to your potential clients and articulate to them that you understand their pains. And when you can do that, again, you build that trust with them. So again, I think this goes even further than just your ideal client avatar exercises. This goes into really understanding their psychographics, understanding what influences their buying decisions, also being able to foresee any objections that they might have, right? So if you don't already know what those 4 W's are, or if you're still not clear about it, or if you're not sure what their buying decisions might be, or what influences them, or you're not sure what some of the common objections would be, then I would suggest that you start talking to them. So you can like do, maybe you can do like a survey or a poll, or even interview them. And that information, that data is so valuable, because when you can speak to them in their language, that's when you break down the walls. That's when they see you as not just somebody who's up here that doesn't understand what I'm really struggling with. So I'll give you another quick example, right? So think about if you were someone who you were trying to lose weight, right? And you're overweight, and you want to hire somebody who is fit and, has a perfect exercise regimen and eats right and works out right. That's somebody that you aspire to, right? And that's perfectly normal, right? You want to be able to work with somebody that knows what they're doing, and they're living, breathing proof of what it's like to live a healthy lifestyle, which is what you're aspiring to. But then if you start talking to that person, right, and that person is right away speaking to you at the level like, they were never speaking to you at the level as though they just can't understand what it's like to be overweight or unhealthy. And they're just speaking to you as though, oh, working out is a part of life and all this good stuff. Now, I'm kind of butchering this example, but what I'm trying to say here is there is the psychology of just the psychology of marketing. And again, coming back to that human part of it, which is like showing that relatability. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be your ideal client and that, you have to have that same story that your ideal clients might have. And I know that that is a big thing that trips a lot of people up, because they're like, well, let's use the same weight loss example. Well, I was never really that overweight, so I can't necessarily relate to them, but I know the tools that I need to live a healthy lifestyle. So I'm qualified to teach them. I'm qualified to coach them. It doesn't mean that, you have to do this with integrity, but that's why it's important to really understand them. And if you were not, if you were never unhealthy, or if you were somebody who, in the coaching industry, in the business coaching industry, for instance, if you were somebody who, hit your 7-8 figures really quickly, and you didn't have the struggle of a lot of other people, if that was not your journey, it's totally fine. But it's so important that you go out and you speak to people who that's their reality and that's their journey. Because when you hear from them and you can really connect with and understand what they're struggling with, then you're able to use those same exact words in your marketing and those same exact words as you speak back to your potential clients. And you have to do this with integrity, obviously, right? You never want to lead people on and let people think that you're something that you're not, because sooner or later, that's going to catch up with you. But the whole thing about it is really just understanding where they're coming from, bringing it back to that human level, and really getting clear on what it is that they're struggling with, what are their pains, and what are their desires. And then when you're talking to them, you want to make sure that you're leaving enough space for them to actually get curious and ask you questions too, right? Please do not monopolize the conversation. If you find yourself like just talking, check in with yourself and take a step back and pause. Check in with them. Ask them if they've got questions. Make sure that it's a two-way conversation. Make sure that they're also not just feeling overwhelmed by all the information that you're giving them, right? So again, there's two different ways to do this. Just to quickly recap, there's the human way. Make sure that you're connecting with people, you're taking the time to really understand them, and you're showing them the human part of your business. You're not showing them that I'm just this perfectly perfect person who solved the problem that you're coming to me for. No. Show them the human side of your business. Bring them along on that journey with you. Connect with them on that human level, right? And then there's the marketing and the business and the strategic part, which I just shared with you. Let me check in if you guys have any questions. Talina, I totally agree. If they don't trust you, they will not buy from you. Yes, exactly. If they don't trust you, they will not buy from you, because at the end of the day, the sales relationship is based on trust, right? There have been people that I've invested with, and they say something on the call, and then when you end up working with them, it's something else. And so you lose trust in people that way as well. So again, just do everything with integrity. Do things the human way, and incorporate those strategic marketing pieces that I just mentioned. And talking to your potential clients should not be something that you're dreading. It should not be something that you're avoiding. Talking to your potential clients should be something that lights you up, that gets you excited, that makes you want to do more of it. Because every time you talk to a potential client, you're getting closer and closer to your market. You're understanding your market, and you're getting practice, getting sales conversations going. And obviously you're having the potential to make sales, right? So let's see, does anyone have any questions before I hop off? Let me just jump into the group and see if there's any. Oh, I might have closed that one down. That's all good. I'll come back and I'll see. Okay, Astrid said, needs to be authentic and to some degree vulnerable. 100%. There's this way with vulnerability, Astrid, that I think there's people who are either afraid to show the vulnerability, or people who show it way too much, right? Where it's like, there's a right way to do it, where it's not like, oh my God, I'm experiencing something and then I'm going to come on camera, or I'm going to bawl my eyes out and show all my vulnerability and share everything. When we're talking about our business, there's an appropriate way to share the vulnerable parts of our story, right? And remember, anytime you're talking about your business, you want to make sure that you're talking about yourself, you want to make sure that you're talking about the points that your ideal clients or your potential clients in your audience can actually relate to. So copywriters will tell you this. If you're writing your About Me page, for instance, yes, that page is about you, but your audience should be able to identify themselves in that story. They should be able to find themselves as you talk about yourself. So, the vulnerability part of it, 100%. I'm a big proponent and advocate of that, but doing it in the right way, doing it in the appropriate ways, right? Okay. Any other questions? Let's see. All righty, you guys. It's 6:36, so I'm hopping off. If you have any questions, any comments, drop them in below in the comments. If you're watching the replay, leave me the comments. I will be back tomorrow, same time. Let me see. What's tomorrow's topic? Do you guys remember? I sent out an email with it. Let's see. Tomorrow's topic is, where are they? Where is it? Ooh, it's a good one. It's a good one. Why choosing a niche is actually holding you back. Aha, that's a little controversial, right? Why choosing a niche is actually holding you back. So I'm going to be back tomorrow, 6 p.m., same time, same place to talk about that. Have a great night. I will see you all soon. Bye.